Hills, love them or hate them, they can be a great training tool, and if they're in a race, well, you've got no avoiding them. So today we're going to be covering how best to get up hills of varying gradients and how to incorporate them in your training to overall improve your running performance. The biggest turn-off when it comes to hills is the fact that you're going to be going slower for the same amount of effort. You've obviously got to battle the effects of gravity, so moving your body weight forwards becomes a lot harder and therefore you're going to be moving slower. So it's an important first step to adapt your pace accordingly. With that in mind, you need to measure your run by effort as opposed to pace, whether that's by feel and perceived effort, or heart rate, or even power if you're using that. You'll get a far more realistic idea of how hard you're working. And it's best to ignore pace altogether, unless it's a hill that you're familiar with and you know how long it normally takes you. And remember, if you are using heart rate, there'll be a slight lag as it catches up on that increase in effort. On that note, if you're just getting back to fitness or if you're new to running, it's completely fine to walk up hills, as you're likely to be putting in the same amount of effort as you would be if you were jogging gently on the flat. Now, also it's great for early season running when you're just trying to get fit, as hills will naturally work your cardiovascular system that much harder without putting as much impact on your joints as you would do if you're running on the flat or down the hill. There's more to come on how to train with hills, but first let's address why. What are the benefits? Well, hills add in gravity and therefore it acts like resistance training to your leg muscles. Incorporating uphill running will make you stronger, you'll feel your glutes and your calf muscles, and it does change your gait as you'll naturally land more on your forefoot and you'll start to use that posterior chain, those muscles at the back of your legs. As well as propelling your body forwards, you'll be taking it uphill. So think of it as small box steps. A hill rep session can replace a leg session in the gym, but then flip that around, and if you want to get better at hills but don't have any nearby, work on box step-ups, split squats and deadlifts to help. It's important to maintain good form when you're running uphill, and it'll soon become obvious if you don't have it. So you want to focus on keeping your chest up and your shoulders back, as it will make running up a hill that much easier, and it'll also reinforce that good technique, which will hopefully stay with you when you return to the flat. And the same goes with your arms, so make sure you use them to help with your balance, but also to propel you forwards and upwards. Okay, I think I've convinced you and myself that hills are great. So now, how do we incorporate them into your training? Well, hill reps are the obvious answer. So you need to find a hill that you like, or more importantly, that suits. So if it's power that you want to work on, you need to find something that's shorter and steeper. Now, a good idea for this is to run hard as you can, 20 seconds up a hill. And if it's steep enough, that will certainly feel like a long time. And then walk back down for your recovery. Repeat that 6 times through. Then take a 2-minute jog recovery to loosen out your legs. Go back to the bottom and repeat it once more. But do feel free to play around with the amount of reps or sets and how much rest you have depending on your fitness, and then you can progress this as you become fitter and stronger. Building strength and endurance is great during the winter and important in your pre-season training. So for this, you want to find a longer, more gradual hill, one that you can run up at a steady but strong pace for 2 minutes and then jog back down as your recovery. Now you want to aim to repeat these 4 to 6 times, all as a continuous effort, and you want to try and maintain the same speed and pace going up the hill each time. Hills are also great for variety, so think of adding them into your longer run, because they'll give you that nice mental break as well as activating different muscles, and you also get the strength component. And when it comes to your long run, pace doesn't matter anyway. The final version of hill reps is Kenyan hills. Now, we've talked about these in detail in a previous video, so you can check that out. It'll be in the description below. But you need to find a hill or a route that's on the side of a hill, so you can run up, along the top, back down the hill, along the bottom to reach the start of your hill again. And it's a good idea to work hard on the uphill, hard along the top, recover down, and then you can build as you're going back along the bottom. And for this, depending on how big the loop is, you can run continuously for around 5 minutes and then repeat that 3 to 4 times with the rest after each 5 minutes. We now need to address how best to get up these hills, whether that's in training or racing. And I've already mentioned the importance of your arms to help with the leg drive, because as you're going uphill, you're going to have to lift your knee and foot higher on each step in order to overcome the rising ground that's in front of you. It's okay to shorten your stride when you're running up the hill, and it's a mistake to actually try and maintain that same length and rhythm you have when you're on the flat. So focus on really keeping that cadence up and your legs moving. And it's also really important to think about your gaze and look look up the hill where you're going, as this will naturally help with your posture as well. The best thing about running uphill, you get the descent, so make sure you enjoy it. And if you're using hills in training, then you can use your descent as part of your recovery. And if you're racing, then again, use it to recover and get your legs moving so that they're ready for that next uphill challenge. And if you want more tips on how to run downhill, we've actually got a video on that which we'll share with you in the description below. Hills can be a great excuse to run off-road too and discover new areas, because you're going to be going slowly up a hill, so it's easy to check your footing and also just enjoy that surrounding. And if you're somewhere where there's a lot of mud, well, that's just going to make you work even harder as well. Well, I personally love using hills to train, as they just take the pressure off. It's enough of a challenge just to get to the top of the hill. You don't have to worry about pace. You can run to time, and it allows you to just run for the pure joy of it. So go out there and embrace those hills. They can be our friends, I promise you. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Give us a thumbs up, like, and click on the globe to make sure you get all of our GTM videos. And for a video on Kenyan hills that we talked about earlier, you can find that just down here. And if you're currently running 10K but you want to train for a half marathon, well, we've got a great video for you just here.